back to Defi, Degens, Drip, and Farm for Poverty, where on this channel, our vision is to empower the impoverished by helping you find financial freedom through crypto assets. If you like the mission, you resonate with the vision, and you find this content useful, please subscribe and leave a comment and a thumbs up. Thanks. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Defi, Degens, Drip, and Farm for Poverty. So you're probably wondering, what in the world is this guy talking about? What do Oreos, pretzels, and marshmallows have to do with drip? Well, the common theme amongst them is the phrase delayed gratification. So let's take a look at what that means, and I'll explain how this ties together and even show you a video about this if you're not familiar with it. But delayed gratification or deferred gratification is the resistance to the temptation of an immediate pleasure in the hope of obtaining a value and long-lasting reward in the long term. In other words, delayed gratification describes the process that the subject undergoes when the subject resists the temptation of an immediate reward in preference for a later reward. Tony Robbins summarizes it much easier: means of resisting the temptation of immediate reward in anticipation that there will be a greater reward later. It's a powerful tool for learning to live your life with purpose. All right, so I will show you what that means if you're not familiar with the Stanford Marshmallow Test. I'm going to play a clip for you now of someone summarizing it. It's not the actual test that was done in the 1970s, but it gives you a really good overview. So let's roll that clip.
What is this marshmallow test? Well, when you look at children and you look at all the different theories about what makes successful kids, you realize that almost all the theories are wrong because they haven't been verified. Like, for example, high IQ. You have a lot of high IQ people who become marginal members of society. And so what is the one psychological test that correlates with success in life? And I found out that it's the marshmallow test. You get kids and ask them, do you want a marshmallow now? Or 2 marshmallows a few hours from now? And the kids that want the marshmallow now tend to be those that want shortcuts, those that don't want to do the hard work. They want the quick kill. They grab that marshmallow. But the other ones say, no, wait a minute. If I wait 2 hours, I can get 2 marshmallows. I can hold out. There's a pot of gold waiting for me. They're not going to take the shortcut. And so you say to yourself, well, that's a test for kids. But then you track them decade by decade by decade, and you find that they are more successful, they have a lower divorce rate, higher income, higher status in society, that don't want that simple payoff now, but are gonna delay gratification into the future. And so I realized that that's the key to success in life, not just science, but in life. Don't take the shortcuts.
But can it be taught?
Well, part of it is your personality that is formed when you're very young. Okay, let's be very clear about that. But I think that, yes, I think that, for example, it turns out that if you do the same thing with poor children and the same thing with middle-class children, it turns out that poor children will, in general, go for the quick kill because they know that things disappear real fast. If there's money in the house, it's gone in the future. If you can show people that there is a pot of gold out there, that yes, you hold out, you go to college, you'll learn the discipline, there's a pot of gold out there. You can learn to appreciate that fact. What we have in the brain that is different from animals is we understand time. We understand the future.
So that was a clip with Kaku Michio on Impact Theory podcast with Tom Bilyeu, and he was describing the 1972 Stanford Marshmallow Test. Kaku is a theoretical physicist, and he teaches at the City College of New York and has been awarded the Sir Arthur Clarke Lifetime Achievement Award, so a man of prestige. But let's get into the Stanford Marshmallow Test itself and where I got this thumbnail from. So the original Stanford Marshmallow Test actually gave children a choice of either an Oreo cookie, marshmallow, or pretzel stick. And then they were told to wait 15 minutes. So same thing that Kaku Michio described. And again, it was a way to test their delayed gratification, and then later on in life, their ability to kind of persevere through difficult tasks and stay focused on the goals that they set for themselves and delay gratification. So There was also this new study that was done here in 2018. I think this was 2018, where they took 28 kids. And in this study, they wanted to not only redo that original test, but they wanted to see if the reliability of the person who's supposed to provide the incentive played a part. So what they did in this new test was they took 28 kids, divided into two groups, and what they did with them was before they actually gave the marshmallow, they instead created an environment or a scenario where they were presented them with art supplies. The first group was given crappy art supplies. The art supplies were broken or subpar, and the presenter said, hey, I'll be back in 2.5 minutes and I will bring you better ones. And in 2.5 minutes exactly, they came back and said, sorry, we don't have better ones. I apologize, you're going to have to use these. Then they waited a little while and said, okay, let's use some stickers. And then the stickers were bad as well. And then same scenario, 2.5 minutes, I'll be back, I'll bring you better stickers. And again, they came back and said we didn't have them. So then finally, they give them the marshmallow. And they say, hey, if you wait, in 15 minutes, I'll be back and I'll give you 2 marshmallows. So now, granted, these children have been presented to unreliable or dishonest, so to speak, presenters in this scenario. So what ended up happening is the kids that were in that group averaged about 3 minutes and 2 seconds to eat the marshmallow. The kids in the reliable group waited on average 12 minutes, and 9 out of the 14 actually waited the full 15 minutes, whereas only 1 kid in the unreliable group waited the whole 15 minutes. So what does this have to do with drip? Well, we know that drip is a long-term kind of store of value, because once you deposit your funds, at a minimum, you're going to have to wait 365 days straight, right? Because you sacrifice it and you get 1% back. So if that's what it already is designed to be, and we know that if we hydrate, we can delay that even further with potential gains, then how this game, I use that in quotes because it kind of does have a lot of game theory tied to it, how this plays out is the sentiment of the market and the emotions and people's personal experiences and things of that nature, kind of like, again, the Stanford Marshmallow Test, because we don't know what sort of environment these people are in or what environment they have come from, what their circumstances are, why they may need liquidity all of a sudden. Maybe they don't trust the presenter. It could be the fact that they don't trust Forex, but they FOMO'd in. They're like, well, I'm just going to get my money out as soon as possible. So they do the claim 100 days in a row and get all of their ROI back, or whatever the case may be. So they claim all the way down here. Or they do the hydrate 5 days, claim 2, or something like that. So what that means is that long term, we're going to have always a lot of sell pressure because people play the game differently. And then there are those whales that we've seen, like Stunner Breezy and Ray from Bartertown and all that are willing to wait and delay gratification and bet the farm or whatever the case may be. They go all in and they're like, yeah, I'm just going to let it ride. And nobody knows. But those people in the long run, from what this study shows, end up being the ones that reap the benefits. Now, in drip, we don't know the future of drip, right? This was based on success in normal life circumstances and being able to, present better at a job interview or get a raise more likely, things of that nature. But it all boils down to self-discipline and delayed gratification. So the reason I bring these all together is because if you got into drip, especially if you're like me and you got in back here, you FOMO'd in, or you saw the top, or you did your research, whatever the case may be, you got in back here. In my humble opinion, it does not make sense for you to be claiming all the way down, like I said, until you get your dollar cost average point back up. So you got in, you know that you're going to have to wait that 1% per day and a minimum of 100 days before you get your investment back. So if that's the case, then why not just wait for the better rewards in the long run? I can't give you financial advice, can't tell people what to do, but that's the situation I'm in. That's why I went with 5, now 6 different wallets. That's why with the Piggy Bank, I went all the way out to the max of 3 years, because I personally believe in the long-term sustainability of the project. And I am willing to risk the capital for those life-changing gains, for those 2 marshmallows later or whatever the case may be. Now, granted, this researcher may not come back in this scenario and I don't get anything, but I'd rather take that risk because I personally see that it could change, a lot of, not just for me, but for others. And my goal is to, again, the whole purpose of this channel is to empower the impoverished. And empowerment starts with mental fortitude or a growth mindset. That's why I brought up the Tony Robbins information here, because it's all about purpose, impulse control, these kinds of things. It all ties into kind of like what you got into Drip for and what your goals are. And for me, my goal, my purpose is to actually help others, not just myself. So because of that, I have to be willing to weather the storm, ride the wave all the way down, because I have a greater purpose or goal for myself and for others that, especially those that got in underneath me as a team leader. So your individual reasons for getting in the Drip can be completely different, and there's 900 or 95,000 other players, and they all have probably different reasons as well. And we don't know what the circumstances will bring in the future that you might have to claim. A doctor bill comes up, or a vacation comes up, or college kids tuition, or whatever. You never know. But that's what's going to always cause this ebb and flow, which also means that not everyone will make it to the max payout. Not everyone will see the 100,000 Drip tokens because of the information I just shared with you. The personal belief in the project, the self-control, the self-discipline, the delayed gratification, the personal life circumstances that brought them to where they are in this particular instance. As I mentioned also in one of these articles, kids that grow up in impoverished areas are much more likely to take the reward now than the future, because they don't know what tomorrow will hold. So all that, I know I'm rambling a bit, but hopefully you see how this all ties together and this makes some sense to you guys. Just thought I'd share a bit of kind of what I do on the back end, not just into a crypto DeFi channel, but I actually teach mindset and health and fitness. That is my goal. So empowering the impoverished. I believe that starts with a strong mind and a strong body. And now I also believe that strong financial health helps with that, because if you're not able to feed your body, then therefore you're going to eat what's available, and that's going to affect your mental state, and then your mental state will then affect your decisions, and you're stuck in this perpetual loop. So I'm not sure which comes first, the chicken or egg scenario. Is it getting people to a level of financial stability, or is it a growth mindset? I don't know. I think those two are actually kind of hand in hand, because I have seen some amazing rags to riches story where people grow up impoverished and they still have this vision and they pull themselves up from the bootstraps. But that doesn't happen near as often as poverty keeping people stuck in that circumstance. So my goal is to spread both. So anyway, guys, hope you found this video helpful. Hope it provides some insight. And if you like this sort of content, leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up, all that good stuff. I'm happy to dive into other information regarding not just the market fundamentals, but kind of the mindset of, like I mentioned in other videos, of the investor versus the trader, or the growth mindset, or empowerment, all that stuff. If you're curious about that kind of stuff, I can always bring some different kind of content, hopefully different than other YouTubers as well. But until then, lift daily and achieve your impossible, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.